Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Meisha Honoré. I'm out of Maryland and I am here to chat with you guys today about Pinterest for Realtors. I have been obsessed with Pinterest before I, got into real estate and all these other things. I've always used Pinterest just passively, but then when I got into real estate, I started using it to generate more buyer and seller leads. And so I'm really excited to hop in and do a deep dive in how you can use Pinterest to not only attract buyers and sellers, but how you can also use it to grow beyond your transactions, right? So, raise your hand if you get to a place where you're like, oh, I've made too much money. I've had too many leads, right? We never get to that place. And so how can we constantly stretch ourselves to grow beyond just transactional income? How can we attract people, clients, grow our brands in a way that we use leverage and we don't burn ourselves out? And so that's kind of what we're going to dive into today with Pinterest. And so what you'll learn today is why Pinterest is a powerful and underused platform in real estate marketing, how Pinterest works differently from, say, Instagram and other social media platforms, the 3 types of content that realtors to attract buyers and sellers, and how to turn your Pinterest pins into website traffic and client inquiries so that way you can grow your brand beyond just transactional income. So some quick fun facts about me. Like I said, guys, my name is Meisha. I'm your Maryland State leader here at eXp. I'm with eXp Luxury. My background is in sales and marketing psychology. I'm also a mindset and embodiment coach. I've been a wellness practitioner. I have done all kinds of things over the span of my almost 13 years in entrepreneurship. When I got into real estate, I was able to blend my passion for life coaching and marketing and mentorship along on the real estate side. And I love doing presentations and teaching you guys in these learning labs. This is not my first time being up here, but I am grateful for every time that Gracie and our Y-Team invites me to come teach. All right, guys. So why does Pinterest matter for realtors? Number 1, Pinterest is not social media. So understanding what Pinterest as a platform is, it is a visual search engine. When people are using Pinterest, they're using it to plan their futures. Users are researching their life decisions or researching materials that they need in order to, let's say you have a seller who needs to understand how to prep their home. They're going to find a checklist on Pinterest. If they are looking to, let's say, upgrade their house because they want to make it market ready, how do I upgrade my cabinets? What fixes need to be done in 2026 to sell your house fast? These are all things that Pinterest users specifically are going and searching. When you use a platform like Instagram, and we are not Instagram shading here today, Instagram is a beautiful platform for what it does. But in contrast, when we use a platform such as Instagram, your posts are only really live and visible and in the eyes of your users for, say, like 24 to 48 hours. Whereas Pinterest, you can create a pin that literally generates traffic for years. There have been several pins, especially if there's different trends going on, say, like TikTok or Instagram, where you can have a pin and let's say today it's not getting traffic. Next thing you know, next year it goes viral. And then the year after that, it goes viral again. It's evergreen traffic. The Pinterest user, the ideal Pinterest user, they're planners. They're going to Pinterest and they're searching things like moving to Maryland, what beach town living looks like. Maybe they're searching modern cottage exteriors, best places to live in Maryland. Of course, I keep talking about Maryland because that's where I'm at, guys. New construction homes. These are all things that Pinterest users go to search. And because it's a visual search engine and our CRMs, I don't know if you guys have used, it was KV Core, now it's, I think, Bold Trail. They actually have a feature where you can upload your listing to Pinterest. So if you're using the right keywords, let's say you have a listing and it's a modern cottage home, you can put the exterior photo up there, pin it, and put the keywords in, Maryland, cottage home, dream home, things like that. And then when the user goes to click on that pin, it's going to traffic them to wherever your landing page is. And we'll get into that. That what landing page can be your website. It can be a lead magnet like your buyer's guide, your seller's guide. It can be a inquiry form directly to your listing. But the point is that these searches happen months before someone's actually looking for a realtor or looking for these professionals that they're looking to work with. And so a lot of times they're just in search mode. And so you can capture a lead very early on by using the Pinterest platform and utilizing it to your advantage. And so where are realtors missing the opportunity for Pinterest? Most agents post their listings. We know that, right? You go, you post your listing on Instagram, you make the video. TikTok is a great space too, but Pinterest is an underused platform when it comes to real estate. So how can we kind of basically double, triple up on your efforts? If you're going to post it to Instagram and TikTok anyway, is it really going to cost you to then put that same click magnet to Pinterest and be able to drive traffic organically there as well? Buyers today are researching cities, especially think about your relocation clients. They're going to search like best beach towns to live in 2026, things to do with children in Berlin, Maryland. These are all things that people go to Pinterest to find. And if you have that information either via a blog on your website, or perhaps you can use like a lead magnet, some sort of guide, a relocation guide, you can tag these keywords and have this living on your Pinterest accounts. For those of you who are looking at like growing your personal brand, right? Let's say you're doing your get readies with me. You have your link me. Here's my top that I'm wearing to my, seller consult, things like that. Well, now you can actually have that pin, again, live on Pinterest. When I click to find out about your top in your link me, you can put Salisbury, Maryland Realtor, Berlin, Maryland Realtor, or whatever city you're in. And now you're also growing your personal brand. You do not have to just use your Pinterest pins. Luna, sorry guys, my cat's trying to join us. We don't have to use our Pinterest specifically only for your buyers and sellers. You can use it to grow your digital products, your personal brand. Why? Because our clients want to get to know us, right? Most of the time, they're choosing us because we're their favorite. Oh, I love her attitude. I love her style. I relate to her because she's a mom. These are the things that build connection. And these are all the things that people on Pinterest are connecting to. And so when they go to your pins, they're able to then drive traffic to, like I said, whatever website, whatever TikTok. You can actually directly pin a TikTok. If you have a TikTok, you can go ahead and pin the video to your Pinterest. And when someone clicks on the pin on your Pinterest, it takes them right to your TikTok page. It can literally work together with all of your platforms. And so just to recap, how does Pinterest work? The Pinterest system is simple. Users use keywords to search what they're looking for. Pinterest shows relevant pins related to those keywords. Users either click or save the pins for later. But the most important thing for our session today is that the pins drive traffic. So you want them going to some sort of landing page of yours. Like I said, whether that's getting them to a free buyer's guide, getting them over to your TikTok, if that's where you have most of your public facing image, but you want to drive traffic to a lead source. And you don't have to use just one specific lead source. You can have one pin, and that one specific pin is driving them to your contact me page on your website. You can have a whole other pin in that same board that's then driving them to the TikTok. So you can have multiple links pinned for your pins, and then you just cycle, rinse, and repeat that process. So the 3 types of content that I've seen that does the best on Pinterest specifically is going to be, number 1, your local lifestyle content. Any local lifestyle content. And again, guys, if you have been following any of the Instagram girlies, the Instagram realtor girlies, they're already posting these things, right? You're already posting your best neighborhoods to live in, things to do in your city, moving to these different places, your best coffee shops. Now, what you would do is you would take and create a pin that then, like I said, leads to whatever guide, whatever relocation guide, whatever landing page, or directly to that Instagram post to drive traffic there, to drive more traffic there. So local lifestyle content does well. Home inspiration content. So your coastal kitchens is a big deal out here on the Eastern Shore. Barn dominiums. Anything that is visually appeasing is going to do well on Pinterest. If you have a certain style of home, like for example, I'm near Ocean City, Maryland. We're near the beach. If I'm pinning beach homes, beach home inspiration, and then that board is taking them to my website, and then what do you know? I'm a luxury beach home realtor. Do you see what I mean, guys? There's so many different ways to link your traffic, directing it to getting people into your pipeline. Because if someone's looking at these things, you know, is it a possibility that they are already a homeowner? Maybe they're looking to buy a home, but why else would you be looking at kitchen exteriors or interiors? Why would you be looking at these things, right? It's inspiration. So either, or they're looking to get one, but guess what? If they keep clicking on your pins, you're going to be the person that's in contact with them. And then again, even if it's not super specific and super local, even if you're doing like home inspiration that's not niche to your specific area, remember guys, we can always refer out, right? If we're generating leads, we can always send that lead out to our referral partners if needed. Pinterest was built for inspiration. Okay, so think of your outfits, your homes, all of these things. You can even do checklists, which goes into my next form of content, actually. I'm getting ahead of myself. Educational real estate content, right? If you are looking to build your downline or build your pipeline when it comes to referrals, think about your new agents. What are they looking for? How to pass my real estate exam, top tips for a new realtor. What are the systems that realtors need? These are all things, again, that a simple pin could send them to a blog on your page, send them to your Instagram page or wherever else. So that way you're constantly, like I said, building that pipeline of either agents, buyers, sellers, or if you are selling digital products or something else that you have, it's sending your leads there. So any kind of educational content also does well on there. There are a lot of people that look for checklists. They're looking for free tutorials. They're looking for guides. And again, remember, Pinterest is visual. So some of those pins are going to look like just words, just text words. And then you click on it and it takes them to like an article or something like that. Okay, and so what is the to like simplify this the best way I can, what is the Pinterest funnel? People click on a pin, they click it, they go to your website or whatever your landing page is, they make the inquiry. That's the pipeline, that's the funnel. It's very simple. The pin, let's say if the pin is moving to Berlin, Maryland, or things to do in Ocean City, Maryland for the summer, right? They're going to click on that pin. It's going to send them to a blog post. That blog post is going to have my relocation guide. In that relocation guide, they're going to get to know me. And guess what? Now I've got their information. I've got their email at very least. Can we check the waiting room? I do not know how to do that. Jen, can you help out with that?
Yeah, Thanks. No, I don't see anybody trying to come in, but I'm definitely monitoring it. Yeah.
I gotcha. So your home search as well. So again, like I said, you can link Pinterest to any kind of link, right? So if that link is going to say your CRM, then we're able to get people set up on home searches. You got to remember, guys, like when you're sending traffic somewhere, the goal is just to capture them, right? You want to capture them and start nurturing them. One thing you don't want to do with Pinterest is you don't want to send them directly to book a call with me because they don't know you yet. Remember, like this isn't Pinterest isn't a space where they're necessarily getting to know your personality. So you want to give them value. You want to send them somewhere where you can nurture them, wherever that may be. So again, if you're most visible on TikTok or Instagram, YouTube, if it's your website, wherever it is, you want to drive that specific pin to whatever landing page you want to bring them to so you can capture their information and nurture them in your pipeline. Okay. And so when we talk about scaling beyond transactions, this is where we could talk a whole session on personal branding, on wealth building, on why it's important to have multiple streams of income. Guys, it is 2026. Everyone in this room can sell a guide. Everyone in this room can have some sort of something that they are good at or that they have created. I'll even give you this. You can get on Etsy and just buy one. There's literally something called master resale rights. You can quite literally get something that's already done where all you have to do is plug and play, right? And so when we talk about scaling beyond transactions, how do we build our brands so that way we can be visible in other spaces and we can create passive income for ourselves that we can then reinvest into wealth building? It's a whole other class. But how do we scale that? Relocation guides, neighborhood guides, any kind of digital products, any kind of referral pipelines. You know, if you're of leads using these systems that we have in place, you literally can refer out to an agent anywhere. You're still going to get a portion of that, right? You can build your downline. Again, if you're using Pinterest because you want to be, you know, some sort of realtor mentor, right? Here's, you know, my top 5 tools that I need as a new realtor. Link it to your Amazon shop. These are all ways that you can do affiliate links. These are ways that you can do guides. It's called, you know, what do they call it? Like the internet money, guys. It's here. We can all do it. And the only reason why you can't do it is because you tell yourself that you can't. All you need is guidance and systems and a little bit of consistency. And Pinterest, again, is faceless. So if you don't want to pin a video, you don't have to. You can get on Canva, make a graphic, top 10 neighborhoods in such city, link it to a blog. ChatGPT writes the blog. House the blog on Substack. Substack is free. You don't want to pay for a website? Guys, there's ways around everything. Money is not a barrier when it comes to these things because there are so many free resources. The only thing standing in between you and your business is you. There's so many of us in YP across our platforms that will jump in and help you. You have to ask for it and you have to be consistent enough to execute on it. That's my spiel about making money. Okay, let's keep going. So remember, the agents who win in the next 5 years won't be the ones that are posting more listings or burning themselves out. We are strategic thinkers. They will be the ones that are building searchable content that lives and works for them while they sleep. Pinterest helps agents create evergreen visibility. We talk about this all the time. How do we scale? How do we not burn ourselves out with making content? The reason why I started posting on Pinterest is because I was going through a phase of burnout. I was exhausted and I needed something I needed something that was low effort, low energy, didn't require me to get my hair done, didn't require me to speak, didn't require much energy of me. Got on Canva, made some graphics, like I said, hopped on ChatGPT, made some blogs. There's so many ways that you can grow as an agent, guys. I needed options. I needed other things to lean on when I did not feel like showing up and I felt like visibility felt like performance to me. That was a real thing. And that's not for everybody. Some people can do it effortlessly, but for the season of life I was in, it wasn't working for me. So I needed something where I could still market myself. I could still market my services. I could still get in front of clients, but I did not want to have to put a camera in front of my face. Pinterest, Substack, those spaces were angels to me because I was able to get in front of clients and I did not have to show my face or do too much energy or effort other than scheduling some of the posts. So just a quick social media breakdown, because I like to talk about the difference in platforms with social media so we understand. When we talk about, just made a Pinterest. I'm getting distracted, guys. I'm gonna go back to the comments at the end. But just to talk a little bit about social media, right? Think about each platform like a character. They all have their own energy and they all can work in tandem with each other. So Pinterest, like I said, evergreen visual guides, it's inspiration, it's first time home buyer checklists, how to get a mortgage, you know, what do I need to do to increase my credit score? Guys, you don't have to be a lender to have that kind of blog. You just have to be the expert, have it written, and then, hey, you want to learn more? Guess what? They download whatever free guide or free checklist you have. Again, they're in your pipeline. TikTok is very raw and relatable video. TikTok is going to be the space where, for example, like me, I'm going to put these curls up, I'm going to put my bonnet on, and I'm going to put the camera to my face and talk first thing in the morning about how I'm getting myself ready, getting my kids ready, and then here's the rest of my day. But TikTok does really well with raw organic content that's very unfiltered. Okay. Instagram is more lifestyle education. A lot of people live in your stories as far as looking at your days. Some of your static posts are kind of like, I think of it like your visual resume. People go to your page, they see static posts, they get a feel for who you are, kind of what you do based on those static posts, and then they jump into your stories to kind of follow your day to day. Okay. And then YouTube is going to be your deep dive content. This is where you're face to face, camera to camera, 30 to 45 minutes. Again, this is where we're posting this training right on YouTube. This is where people do a deep dive for information. And guess what? Every single one of the platforms that I just mentioned to you can be a clickable link on Pinterest. So we're not asking you to do more. We're just asking you to maximize your visibility, maximize what you're already doing. Okay, so then how do you start today? What's the simplest way to start today on Pinterest? Number one, you want to go ahead and create a Pinterest business account. It is super easy. It's literally your email. I think a short bio, and I'm working on a Pinterest guide, guys. So make sure you stay tuned and follow me for more, and I'll send it out like in an email when I get it all together, but it'll have the steps in there. You want to set up a Pinterest business account. And then you want to create about 5 boards about your market. It can be new construction. It can be, like I said, real estate marketing for beginners, whatever it is that you kind of want to talk about in your niche, but you want to create 5 boards. And then to those same 5 boards, you want to create about 5 to 10 pins a week. And again, you're just driving traffic straight to whatever your landing site is, whatever your, wherever you want to send that traffic to. And each pin that you make goes to one specific website. So you can have 5 pins that are the same pin, but each of those 5 pins are taking them somewhere different. That's one post that you made, 5 different spaces that they can go to. Pinterest is a great space where you don't have, like I said, you do not have to work hard. It is not based on an algorithm or how many times you're posting. It's based on keywords. So when people search your specific keyword, they're going to find your content. Okay. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. I am very passionate about helping realtors and helping women maximize what they're doing, build wealth, build wellness. Thank you guys for having me. I am going to check the chat box now for questions. After I do stop share. Okay. Yeah, going through burnout is tough, guys. And the best way to the one thing that I could say about burnout is that you got to find what it is that's draining your energy. You know, where is the burnout coming from? What is it exactly that's bothering you? Is it that you are setting unrealistic expectations for yourself? Are you spread thin and now you need to bring in some help? Sometimes, honestly, we need a timeout. Do you need just a timeout to re-strategize, to just kind of take a break? You know, one of the best things I can say about burnout is get really honest with yourself about what your needs are and if you are taking care of them. I just checked my Pinterest. I posted pictures of AI farmhouse content and forgot about it. And it says 4 point. Yeah, who knew? I'm telling you, you can, again, like Emily said, you can use AI and just create a video about farmhouses. let's say if your niche is like, I know one of the things that's kind of big here in PG County is multi-generational living. That's like a hot spot right now. So just do AI multi-gen inspiration. And then when they click on it, you're just the person that they're clicking on. Naturally, they're going to think like, oh, well, this must be your website or somebody that can help me with this. And then you reach out to them. You send them an email. Hey, here's what I know about multi-gen, or you put them in some sort of pipeline. You can create some sort of newsletter. This is where strategic strategy, marketing strategy, brand strategy, all of that stuff kind of comes into play as far as your pipeline and what to do with your clients once you actually get them. But absolutely, Pinterest is definitely somewhere that you can do that. When it comes to using keywords, how many keywords can you use per pin? So that just depends. I think that Pinterest, the platform itself, has like a keyword tab, and it lets you put the different pin keywords in there. So I don't know specifically exactly how many, but you want to use ones that are relevant to the pin itself, not necessarily relevant to you. Do you get what I mean? Like, you don't want to keep tagging like Maryland Realtor. No, you want to get super niche about that specific pin, because when someone goes to Google coffee shops in Berlin, Maryland, you know what I mean? You want that specific keyword that's to that pin to come up.
Hey, can I ask a quick question and not put it in the chat really quick? You may have went over this, but is there a way to like schedule out your posts or pins on Pinterest? I know I use it personally, but not on a business page like point of view. So I was curious because I do like content and then I schedule it out for the week so I don't have to worry about it. And I didn't know if there was a way to do that on Pinterest.
Yep, it's called Tailwind. Pinterest itself has a platform where you can, I think it's called Tailwind. I'm putting that in the chat. Pinterest lets you schedule right on their platform, like on the business account. So you can either do it through Pinterest or you can use Tailwind.
That's awesome. I had a quick question. So have you found that, like, because obviously we can put them on several different socials. Have you found that one social really speaks to Pinterest maybe in a different way or maybe performs better? Do you have any data on that yet?
No, because it's specifically about the link. So
Gotcha.
Remember with Pinterest, it's like you have the pin, that pin is sending them to a link. So as long as that, and I mean, that link can be a link to your stand store. Like I said, it can be a link to a very specific Instagram post. Mm-hmm. It can be a link to your general Instagram, but the reason why I would say don't link it to your general Instagram is because then how are you actually capturing that lead? If someone clicks on it and then they're going to your Instagram, well, you don't know if they're actually going to hit the follow button. Mm-hmm. So I would recommend that you're linking them somewhere where you can capture their information somewhere. How many referrals in or out have you gotten out of this? What has been your most popular Pinterest post? That's such a good question. I have not implemented this. So I teach it and I set up other people's accounts from where I was in marketing, but I have not actually used it for my own lead generation purposes because I am just now starting to kind of speak more about it. But I have seen a lot of people have really good success with it. I don't know as far as like referrals, but definitely on views and clicks. So Pinterest analytics, I think one of my posts had gotten like probably upwards like 6K views, but you have to kind of look at the analytics of it. I hope that answers your question. So I've looked at this from the strategist and marketing side, not necessarily as an agent. It does. Okay, good. Yeah. And Pinterest, like I said, it's all about the analytics of it. You definitely want to link to two spaces where you can then quantify, like you said, those leads and what's really happening. So being able to link it directly to a lead magnet that lives like on your stand store or something like that, or your link tree, well, you can see how many people are downloading that free resource and then how you're nurturing them after the fact. You get what I mean? You definitely don't want to link people to things that they have to directly buy or unless if it's like a affiliate link of sorts. Like if you're gonna link it to something they're directly buying, it would be something like, like I said, top 5 real estate essentials, right? And so then you're linking it directly to an affiliate link for your Amazon store, and they're buying, some sort of camera or something from you. And then from there, I mean, you'd be able to quantify that from how many sales you're getting, right? For international buyers, I'd love to get with you to explain. Yeah, I'm happy to do a consult with you. Pinterest is popular in Mexico. Yeah. And I'm telling you, like, you can use pictures, you can use AI, you can use organic pictures where you're just pinning, different sunsets. Like people save stuff like that. I tell my clients to be very specific about what they're pinning, because again, you can pin let's say, picture of the beach, right? And people are going to save it, but that's not really driving traffic to anything for you. And that's not really capturing the client avatar that you're looking for. So this is where strategy comes in, right? Why is it prevalent to work with a brand strategist, to work with a marketing strategist? Because there has to be a rhyme and a reason for the things that you're posting and how you're funneling your leads, right? It's not just about what's the use of getting the traffic, but you don't know how to actually capture them or nurture them to keep them or get their information. You know what I mean? And in order to do that, this is where the sales psychology aspect of it comes in. Who is my ideal client? What would they be searching on Pinterest? And how do I get in front of them? What information do they need? What's going to be prevalent to them that can put me in front of them? What can I offer them that's going to make them freely give me their name, phone number, email? And each pin is going to be different depending on what your strategy and things is behind that. It's just like content pillars, right? So like for me, I'm a coach, but I'm also an agent, so I can do a board about marketing. I could do a board about my local market in Maryland. I can do relocation. We can do luxury. There's so many different ways that you can use the boards to your advantage. And then if you are like a lifestyle realtor is what I call them, like if you are on TikTok and Instagram and you're showcasing, like I said, an outfit or something like that. Well, for example, like I'll use Rashawn as an example because I know her TikTok page. So she has a TikTok, she's showing off her Halara pants. She puts that pin on Pinterest. She puts that video on Pinterest of her in the pants. The clickable link is going to take them to her TikTok post about those pants. And the hope is that then people are going to click on that post and buy the pants from her. So she most likely has like a shop me thing on her TikTok link, right? So it just has to make sense. You have to think about why you're sending someone where you're sending them. But it should not be something like a landing page for them to go ahead and, instantly buy something from you, unless if it's some sort of affiliate link, because the rapport is not there. Unless if you don't need the rapport. I don't need a rapport from you to buy a camera, right? But if you're asking me to like book a one-to-one coaching session with you, I might want to know you a little bit more. And so that might be not a waste of a lead, but kind of like a waste of a lead. You know what I mean? You want to nurture your audience before you ask them for something. Warm them up a little bit. you gotta warm them up a little bit before you start asking people for their coins. You know what I mean? You can't just go out here and be like, oh yeah, by the way, here's one pin and my new program is $100-something. For the most part, you're gonna lose people because again, they're searching information, right? They're searching free information. So we want to get into that buyer psychology. We want to get into the minds of the people that we are targeting.
Does anybody have any other questions for Meisha? You can feel free to take yourself off mute and you can put it in the chat.
I do.
Sure.
Sorry. So I joined the call a little bit late. So I wanted to ask you. So let's pretend that I help a lot of investors. So let's pretend I'm trying to get more investors. So what's something that you will put in Pinterest to kind of like attract more of those kind of clients?
For investors, I don't know. So when I think of investors, I don't know that I see investors that would be sitting and, searching Pinterest necessarily. If anything, if they're an early stage investor, I would say maybe some sort of checklist. Think like how to get started with Airbnbs. That would be a good blog post, right? And so then you're going to attract people who are looking to get started with that. In turn, they are most likely investors. It depends on what the term investor is so broad. You know what I mean? So like, because when I think of fixer flips, when I've worked with those kinds of investors, in my experience, guys, don't crucify me, they've been penny pinchers and they could care less probably about Pinterest. The kind of investor that would be on Pinterest, I think would most likely be maybe a younger next gen person who is looking for something savvy and they're looking to get started, like I said, with either Airbnbs or short-term rentals, and they're kind of curious about the process. And so I would give them informational bait on how to get started, checklists, things like that. How to grow passive income is a big one. And so then in that blog of how to grow passive income, I would link, how to get started with your first, 203K loan or something like that. I would have to do a deep dive into, like I said, your client avatar and who you are exactly trying to attract. Yeah, I would want to see who you're trying to attract, because here's the other thing, guys, depending on your client avatar, they may not be the person that you're necessarily targeting on Pinterest, right? So like I said, all of these social platforms have their own kind of language. They're going to attract different buyers of yours. Most of us are multifaceted in some sort of way. You can leverage your different platforms to talk to different kind of content pillars of who you're trying to target. Depending on your type of seller or your type of buyer or your type of mentee or what you're trying to do with your brand and with your business, that's what you want to kind of understand who it is that you're talking to and where that specific person would be, which social platform they would kind of live on, and what kind of content would be clickbait for them, essentially.
Got it. Thank you, Meisha.
Of course. Oh, I would even do like maybe like do it yourself. What is it called? Like how to do it yourself renovations. Yeah, like DIY renovation stuff, someone who's maybe thinking about investing, who's wondering if they can, fix up a bathroom themselves or something like that, Investors are tough, or a tough market, or at least have been for me.
And so do you make all this free in press, or do you charge? Because I know a couple of people that say, they do digital marketing, they charge their clients, but is this actually free because you're just trying to get them to your page, or do you actually get something out of it?
Do I charge my clients?
No. Like, do they pay? Like you say, you do a list, like a checklist for first time home buyers. Do they pay for that checklist, or is it completely free?
No. So it depends on what it is. I have some digital products that are for sale, but how I market those digital products are different. Most of the time, if you're going to do like a checklist or a visual aid on Pinterest, you can do it as a free downloadable, but you want a way for you to capture their information from the download. So typically what I would do is, let's say the checklist is free. They have to put in their email and phone number and name in order to download the free checklist. Once they do that, they're now in an email marketing funnel. And maybe by the time they get to like the 5th email in my funnel, I'm now upselling them on something, or I'm asking them to book a call with me for something.
Got it. Thank you.
Of course.
There was another question in the chat. So do you notice posting at a certain time is better for the algorithm?
No, because Pinterest doesn't necessarily have an algorithm in the same ways that we speak about TikTok and Instagram, again, this is evergreen content. It's really heavy on keywords. So it's more so about the prevalent of the keyword and the content than it is a time of day that someone's looking for.
Awesome. And then Emily had a question. Before and after photos could be AI generated top trends of 2026. Emily, you can take yourself off mute if you'd like, but I think you're asking, Meisha, are these, potential things that you could have as like your pins? Is that correct?
Those were just like ideas of like what people could like put on there. I also just took a training with eXp where like specifically for like the investor question, where they were talking about the DISC assessment and learning what each letter of the DISC assessment means so that you're making your content around what each of those people would be looking for. So like some people would look for a checklist. Other people are like I'm an ID. I would be looking for something that's more like what kind of party dip is like the trending thing for 2026. You know what I mean? Something like that. Or an entertaining space, maybe, but I just thought it was really cool. I'd never thought of DISC assessment like that. So that's might also be helpful too.
Yeah, 100%, because the DISC assessment, again, helps you speak to your avatar. Like even when we talk about Instagram, we talk about people need the information in different ways. Like some people need to hear it. So they need to hear me speaking like this. Some people need to read it. So it needs to be like a carousel post. You can have the same information given in like 5 different ways, So same thing with Pinterest. How can we take one piece of content and break it up in say 5 or 6, 7 different ways so that way we can market to our audience in the ways that's going to resonate with them most?
Right. Well, and I found too that the DISC assessment, if you do it like that and you do the same topic, but in each one of those letters, you're giving yourself, 4 different pieces of content, even for one single week.
Yep. Exactly. And guys, I am a stan. When in doubt, hire out. When in doubt, hire out. Okay? If there is something that is going to benefit your business and you can make an investment in order to scale your business, to make this more simplified for you, and I mean this about marketing experts, coaches, if you can invest in yourself and your business, do it, and do it quickly. That is what separates so many successful people, is that they make decisions that have a ROI, that are profitable to them. The best thing we always say in real estate is what? Protect your time. Protect your time. If you know the benefits of certain things and you feel like, actually more visibility would help me, more marketing would help me, more one-on-one coaching would help me, whatever the case may be, invest in it. Talk to the expert. You don't have to make yourself the marketing expert. Go get one. There are people out here that you can literally even get like on Fiverr if you're limited on budget. Start with a smaller budget and then scale. Because the more leads you get, right, the more clients you get, you can take a fraction of that income and then reinvest it. That was one of the main things that I had put on my goal list when I was burnt out, is that I wanted to hire a social media manager. Not because I hadn't taught myself how to do social media in the past, not because I'm not clearly knowledgeable, but because I didn't want to do it. It didn't bring me joy. I much rather talk to people one-on-one. I much rather do these trainings. This is where I find this is my area of excellence. And so I hired somebody in their area of excellence to execute for me. It does not make you a failure. That makes you strategic. And if you insist, there's always YouTube University. There's so many different trainings on Pinterest. Now that you kind of have this fundamental knowledge of it, you can look at Pinterest marketing and you just have to tailor it to realtors. And like I said, I'm putting together something more specific for realtors because I do think that it's a very, very underused platform, especially for, I've heard realtors say, like, I'm introverted. I love what I do with my clients, but I don't like marketing. I'm really uncomfortable on camera. And I've heard so many people say that the antidote to that is to just do it. Just get in front of the camera. Okay, yes. And What if there was another way? Right? Because if you're saying that you're somebody that much rather write a blog or, kind of just do your graphics and stuff like that, why not use platforms that enhance who you already are and connect with clients who are going to resonate with that? There are times to stretch yourself out of your comfort zone, but also I talk a lot about like nervous system regulation, putting yourself in constant cortisol spikes because now you're so uncomfortable trying to get on front of the camera so you can live up to everyone else's expectations of Instagram when it's not your thing, when you much rather write out a blog post or create a cute graphic. There's so many different ways to market yourself. You don't have to pick one way.